lighter note, no, just kidding. Okay, good. In Bhutan, there's a belief that thinking about death 5 times a day will make you happy. In Thailand, Buddhist monks have been known to meditate to photos of rotting corpses as a reminder of their own mortality. Pretty dark and twisty, right? But what if thinking about death is the dark and twisty secret to living a more fulfilled life? As a palliative care doctor, I think about death and dying every single day, and I've come to appreciate the benefits of having a healthy relationship with our mortality. I've also seen the overwhelming discomfort with which healthcare providers receive death into their practice. When I come to see patients who are near the end of life, it's not uncommon for me to hear members of the medical team say things like, "We've run out of options," or "There's nothing more we can do." They shroud the dying with euphemism. The patient is palliative, they say, confusing our attempt to alleviate suffering with dying itself. The issue with these phrases is that they apply a very medical lens to the very human experience of dying. By saying things like "there's nothing more we can do," we imply that when medicine can no longer cure a disease, we as medical providers have nothing left to offer a dying person. It's this narrative that drives our collective death anxiety in healthcare, equating the death of a patient with a failure of our practice. This creates an uncomfortable space for those of us who chose to become healthcare providers to save lives. So it's not surprising when we sometimes turn our backs to our dying patients. But if we apply a more humanistic approach to the issue of dying, we realize that there's always something more we can offer, even to a person who has limited time. We learn that saving lives can be as valuable a pursuit as saving deaths. Saving deaths can be as valuable a pursuit as saving lives. The cornerstone of the work we do in palliative care is medical management of serious, life-limiting illness, along with impeccable pain and symptom support. But the magic of our work happens when we move beyond the medical particulars and consider the human face of dying. When we have the courage to look our dying patients in the eyes and consider their struggle as something we too will one day face, we quickly realize that there is hope beyond cure, that there's always something more that can be done. Perhaps it's giving a manicure to a woman as she takes her final breaths after she fretted a day earlier about her chipped nail polish. Or maybe it's getting a lobster dinner for a homeless man receiving medical assistance in dying the next morning. A final request for a small luxury coming from a man who spent most of his life eating in homeless shelters. Or maybe it's helping a frail but feisty, bedbound elderly woman get outside for the first time in weeks so that she could enjoy a cigarette and gin and tonic, as was her evening ritual for many nights before she got sick. Maybe it's even just holding space for someone in the early moments of death, honoring them as a whole person who loved and was loved. What we don't learn in medical school or nursing school is that we have the power to heal, even when we can't cure. In sharing in these and other intimate moments with my patients, I have been changed. In a way, I too have been healed. So, my hope for healthcare? That we stop viewing the death of our patients as our failure and start considering it as our opportunity. Our opportunity to see our patients as whole, vibrant people with priorities in their lives beyond just living longer. Our opportunity to see the humanity in our patients and in ourselves, for there is no experience more universally human than the experience of dying. Caring for people who can't be cured can teach us incredibly valuable lessons. Lessons in humility, that nature will always prove more powerful than even our strongest medicine. Lessons in compassion, that when we're faced with an unfixable problem, sometimes the best thing we can do is sit in solidarity with our patients' uncertainty, to lean into their suffering rather than turn away from it. Lessons in human connection, for death truly is the common ground of humanity. In being present with our patients who are near end of life, we may start to consider our own lives a little more thoughtfully. We may even begin to embrace our inevitable mortality, perhaps finding ourselves inspired to delight in life's simple pleasures, like a fresh manicure in fire engine red, or the rich taste of lobster dipped in warm, melted butter, or the crisp, familiar bite of a gin and tonic. The death of a patient is not our failure. Our failure is what happens when we turn away from the people who need us most. So the next time you think there's nothing more we can do, remember your power to heal, even when you can't cure. You may even find yourself being healed along the way. Thank you.